you see we have dotted lines here, and you can see down here we have the number 1 and we have number 2. So what this is showing us is the layout of the pages at the size that I chose. So I'm going to bring this back down. What we're going to do here is we're going to put down some buttons and round out this interface. I have a home page, so I have a title and I have a nice graphic, a picture of an elk here. So this is a pretty good home page for our resource dynamics model. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a button that I'm going to style to look like a hyperlink that will show some information to the user and give them some background of what this is. So it's going to be an info button, and I'm going to have some background text. So I'm just going to type for now, fill in some background text later, because we don't have time for everyone to watch me type. So that's the purpose of the button. It's going to show info window. And now let's focus on the appearance, because one of the things that you want to do when building a NetSim is to make buttons look like hyperlinks. Because users will be opening this NetSim in their browser, when they see blue underlined text, they know that that is a hyperlink and something that they can click on and interact with. So that's a good way to present buttons. So in 9.1 we added a feature where you can make a button transparent, and you can style it to look like a hyperlink, and it will still display the text. So let's just fill in the text first. This link is going to be background and context. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to style the picture of the text here by clicking on Import the Picture, and I'm going to make my text underlined. I'm going to align it to the left, and I want to make it a bit bigger. So I'm going to bump it up to about 24 points. So great, all looks good. I'm going to hit OK and hit OK. So now I have a transparent button, and in iThink you can see the outline of the button, and obviously it's the wrong size. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. Excuse me while I just resize my window a bit. I want to see, notice I resized my window so I can see the edge of the page, because I don't want to overlap and go over the page like this. I want to make sure that the stuff on this page fits into this page. Okay, great. Now there's one thing missing here. Hyperlinks are usually blue, so I'm going to use the paint tool to color this blue. Great. Now I can click on it and see that I have some text here, and I can size the window. Great, and we'll make sure that at some point we fill in that background text. That would be a great place to put in some information to the user that, hey, this is a simulation, an actual simulation running, and it allows you to experiment, etc., etc. So now, since I have this great hyperlink button, I'm going to just use this as a template to put down my other buttons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. I'm going to actually right-click and choose Copy, and then I'm just going to paste a copy of that button. And I'll use the arrow keys to kind of get it lined up here. And I'm going to put in my next button. My next button will be a navigation button that will take me to my control panel that we have over here. So I'm going to open up the button dialog, and an important feature, this is probably the most important feature for in iThink 9.1 relating to NetSim, is how you define the navigation back and forth to the various pages. So this will be a navigation button that will take us to the simulation control panel page. So I'm going to say the button purpose is to navigate, and then I'm going to click to define the navigation. You'll see we added these three icons here in iThink 9.1. This will take you to the previous page. This will take you to the next page, and that happens to be where my control panel is. So I'm going to choose that option. The last option is the home page, and we'll actually use that in a minute. So great, I want to go to the next page. Great, and I want my text to say simulate. Great. Okay, so now let me try out the button. I can click, and you can see it automatically took me to the next page and set up the positioning and everything. So now that I'm here, I have no way to go back without using the scroll bar, and these scroll bars will not be available in isee NetSim, so in the browser. So I'm going to actually make a button to return to the home page. I'm going to put down a button, and once again, the purpose is to navigate. I'm going to define the navigation, and I'm going to navigate to the home page. I'm also going to check off this option here, which is use the default icon. This is the default icon, the picture of the house. And I think that's going to work out pretty well, because picture of the house in a browser means go back to the home page, and that's exactly what we want to do. So let's try it out. Great, we can go back to the home page. So now we have a good home page with background and context information, and a link to the control panel where the user can come in and actually run the model. So we see, I've already set up the graph and whatnot. So when they run this model, they may not know what is driving this. They may not know anything about modeling. So you want to be able to reveal the underlying dynamics of what drives this. So we can do that by creating a storytelling button, which will actually display the model to the user on the web. So let's go ahead and do that. Once again, I'm going to use this as a template. I'm going to copy and paste the button, and then use my arrow keys to get it lined up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a storytelling button. Since we don't have a ton of time, I'm going to do a very simple story here that just shows the population module in this case. So button purpose is storytelling. I'm going to create the story. I'm going to go down and build the story. Let's go down into the population module, and I just want to show the whole thing at this point. So I'm just actually going to drag, select everything, and return. Hit OK, and change the name to Explore Model Structure. Great. So now when I click on this, it's going to show the model to the user, and I included the picture there so that they can actually see what the death rate is. Because on the web, it's going to display this as a picture of the model. They won't actually be able to double-click on the stocks and the flows and the converters like you can in iThink and change the equations or look at the equations. So I just took a little screenshot of the death rate equation and put it in there so that we can show that on the web easily. Okay, great. So we have some background. We have a navigation to our control panel where the user can run the model. We have a navigation back to the home page, and we can show the user the model. I think we're ready to publish this online using isee NetSim. So the last step is we choose File, Export for NetSim. So I'm going to save this to the desktop, and it automatically named it the same name as the model. That's fine. So I'm going to hit Save, and at this point, we're done with iThink, and we need to move into using the isee NetSim wizard to publish the model online.